Cell phones? Cell phones and silent are off?
That you reminded me.
Mine is off.
You want my cell phone?
I'm gonna confiscate your phone if it goes off.
He's talking to somebody's cell phone.
Okay, we're done.
Good. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena City Council meeting for Tuesday, February the 25th, 2020. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Madam Mayor, all council members are present.
Okay, thank you. Ms. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
No, Madam Mayor, there was no reportable action taken tonight.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, it will be led by Nicolas Escobar and Crystal Rodriguez. Immediately following that, we will be led in invocation by the Reverend Iki Tulu Tami. So at this time, please stand, and if our pledges can come forward to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor Serta, City Council members of Gardena, and everyone else that is joining us here today. My name is Nicholas Escobar, the Student Body Vice President of Perry Middle School.
Good evening, everyone. I am Crystal Rodriguez, the 8th grade student body representative of Perry Middle School.
We are both honored to be here to lead you all in the pledge.
May everyone please stand.
Face the flag.
Put your right hand over your heart.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, please continue standing for our invocation. Pastor Iki.
Let us pray. To our God, Creator, who made all things right, this evening we ask that you would join us and that you would bless us with wisdom, with courage, and with leadership. This evening, may we reflect you well and honor you as you have made us in your image. And so allow us to make good decisions, to do right, to look after not just those who can afford to be looked after, but to the voiceless, to the fatherless, to the hungry, and to the naked. Watch over our residents in Gardena. Bless them this evening. Draw close to each of them, whether they lie sick in our hospital or safely at home or are finding a place to live. Give us empathy that we may bless others by hearing their story. And now this evening, Lord, lead us forward with courage. We love you. We bless you. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. If our two pledgers can come back to the front. So tonight's Pledge of Allegiance was led by Nicolas Escobar, who is in the 7th grade, and Crystal Rodriguez, who is in the 8th grade. They both attend Robert E. Perry Middle School, and their principal is Miss Christina Green. Both Nicholas and Crystal were chosen to lead the flag salute because they are members of a leadership at Perry and consistently demonstrate their leadership qualities. So I'm going to begin first with Crystal. Can you tell us who brought you here tonight? Hit that little button right. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Our two lovely administrators brought us today. Our
Oh.
principal, Miss Green, and our assistant principal, Mr. Collins.
Wow. Give them a round of applause, please. And is there anything you'd like to say?
I would like to say thank you for inviting us and letting us be here tonight. Thank you for letting me experience this.
Okay. Well, thank you. You did a great job. Also, Nicholas, can you tell us, I guess, did you come with the administrators or did you come with someone else?
Yeah, I came with the administrators as well.
Oh, okay. Very good. And is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'm very honored to be here today, and thank you for this experience.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, first off, I'd like to thank the principal and the assistant principal for bringing them out and just being here to witness this. We really appreciate your involvement in helping the kids come here tonight. And I'd just like to thank both of our pledges. You guys did an amazing job. You guys are great speakers here. Please, yes, give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
I'm sure as the years come on, you guys are going to be amazing. I'm sure we'll probably even see you up here in a few years. So yes.
I was a part of the admirals and the leadership at Perry,
Okay.
and so there is hope. They will be up here.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you guys again. I'm looking forward to you maybe coming back in the future and leading us once again. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next, our invocation, Pastor Icky, if you could come forward. So tonight's invocation was led by the Reverend Icky Tolu Tami, who is the lead pastor at Gardena Genesis Community Church. I apologize, I keep calling you Pastor Icky.
That's all right.
I know him so well here. He's a minister at Gardena Genesis Community Church, which is located at 16113 South Dinker Avenue in Gardena. Pastor Tammy is a Tongan-born native and was raised in the South Bay area. He completed an undergraduate degree in biblical studies with a minor in biblical language at La Sierra University in Riverside, California. From there, he went straight into ministry for the university as an assistant chaplain, and in 2006, he accepted a call from the Southern California Conference of Seventh-day Adventists to be a pastor. While planning a church, he was asked to assist to save another church and ended up merging the two into what is now the Gardena Genesis Community Church. During that time, Pastor Tammy also completed a Master's of Theological Studies degree with high honors and is working on a postgraduate PhD degree in Religion and Ethics at Claremont School of Theology. In addition to being a pastor for 13 years, for the past 11 years, he has also been the chairperson for the Seniors, Youth, and Young Adults Committee of the Southern California Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists. When he has time, he loves to play sports, hang out with people, read, and eat, and it's stressing eat. He is married to Melanie Tammy, and together they have a 6-year-old daughter, Michaela, Evelyn Tammy, and a 5-year-old son, Leo Christopher Miguel Tammy. So, Pastor, would you like to say anything at this time?
I would. I want to say that I've pastored here in the Gardena area since 2008, and it has been an amazing pleasure to work and partner alongside each of you. I thank you for your courageous work, and I want to encourage you to continue forward. I also would like to introduce our newest lead pastor at our church. I am no longer the senior pastor at the Gardena Genesis Community Church. And now I have the great privilege of sitting every week and listening to our senior pastor, who is Pastor Philemon.
Okay. Welcome.
Thanks for having us this evening. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for leading us in the invocation. Okay, so next we're going to move on to our presentations. Tonight it is my turn. As you know, every meeting it's customary that we all get to pick a veteran to be recognized, and I'd just like to take this moment to also recognize my colleague, Councilmember Dan Medina, because he was the brainchild behind this here a couple of years ago, many years ago actually, when he came up with the idea of honoring a veteran at all of our city council meetings. So because of his great wisdom with this here, tonight we're at the point of recognizing tonight's veteran, and it is Mrs. Marilyn Rideau. And as before I come down to read her bio, before Mayor Pro Tem begins to read his bio, I just want to say that we are truly honored to be presenting you with this award here. I had the opportunity to meet your parents and know them many years ago through our homeowners association. Very wonderful people, both your mom and dad. And it is just my honor. When I read your bio, I was just really taken back. So I'm just very honored to be able tonight to be able to present this to you. So Mayor Pro Tem, if you'll read the bio as I come down.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Gardena Military Veteran Recognition honoring Marilyn Rideau, selected by Mayor Tasha Sirda. Ms. Rideau is a longtime resident of Gardena Military Services. Ms. Rideau joined the U.S. Air Force on December 14, 1977, and served until honorably discharged on November 13, 1983, at the rank of Staff Sergeant E5. During her service, due to her extensive training, she held several specialty titles: Training Technician, 2 years, 4 months, Education Specialist, 1 year, 1 month, Inventory Management Specialist, 2 years, 3 months. She served with the following units: Military Airlift Command, Travis Air Force Base, California; Air Force System Command, Los Angeles, California; Tactical Airlift Command, Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. She also participated in the invasion of Lebanon, Grenada by United States military forces in 1983. For Ms. Rideau military service, she was also awarded for the following: Air Force Good Conduct Medal, Air Force Longevity Service Award, Air Force Training Ribbon. In addition to receive tonight's recognition, Ms. Rideau is also being presented with a special coin that was specially designed to honor those military veterans of Gardena who are extended appreciation by the Gardena City Council for their service to our country. Ms. Rideau will also receive some complimentary photographs and DVD of tonight's meeting. Plus, one of the photos taken with members of City Council tonight will be displayed in the future on the electronic sign located on the northwest corner of Western Avenue and Redondo Beach Boulevard. Ms. Rideau, congratulations, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mayor Serta and members of the City Council. It is indeed a pleasure to be here this evening and to be bestowed with such honor. This is absolutely beautiful. You all should see this. Being a veteran, I'm a member of the American Legion. I've been a 30-year member, and we have the saying, special guest. My special guest is everyone here in the audience. So would my special guest please stand and be recognized? Thank you, family. I have a very small family here in Gardena, and of course they all got to work early in the morning, so it would be a little difficult for them to get here. You heard the mayor mention my parents, Lionel and Helen Rideau, and I am so very proud to be their daughter. When I joined the Air Force back in 1977, when I went to the recruiting office and I signed my contract and took the initial oath, I go to the payphone and I called my dad. I was so excited. And I said, Daddy, you're not going to believe this. I said, I just joined the Air Force. And I thought he was just going to hit the bricks. He said, good. The Air Force is going to make a man out of you. My parents had 3 girls. He wanted a boy, but we were 3 girls, so I'm the youngest of 3, and I was his last hope. I thought that was so very funny. I did 6 years in the Air Force, and after 6 years, I said, well, I've served my country. I've done my duty. I'm going to get out. I started at Travis Air Force Base in Northern California. Then my next station was here in Los Angeles, in El Segundo. And I was there a year, and then from there they sent me to Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. Well, after 3 years of wind and dust, I'm like, that's it. I've done my job. I'm through. But it was a wonderful experience, an experience I will never forget. And I came home, and I went to work for Los Angeles County. I did 34 years with the Department of Health Services. I worked for emergency medical services. So I know about hospitals and emergency rooms. And every time I go to Gardena Memorial and the ER, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is really something, you know. We need a bigger hospital. But I'll save that for another time. At any point, I want to say thank you. I'm not going to stand here and talk. I am retired. I am available for service to the City of Gardena. I do a lot for the American Legion. I travel over the country, but this is my home, and I'm not hiding. I'm available. Thank you so much for this honor. I I'm really speechless. Thank you so much. Oh, excuse me. I forget one thing. I can't sit down yet. The reason I'm standing here is I know that Mayor Serta recommended me, but the person who actually got me here, that brought me the application, pushed me to fill it out and send it in, was none other than my neighbor, Miss Laverne Knight, and I want to thank her. I almost forgot that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you again. Okay, so next we have a certificate of recognition, but I'm actually going to take this out of order here tonight. I'm going to kind of jump ahead here. I'm going to go to item number 4A3 here. It's a resolution of commendation here. And I'm going to ask my colleague, Councilmember Dan Medina, if you'll just go to the front in front of the podium as I read this here. So tonight's resolution of commendations reads as follows. Whereas the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of Gardena, California, do hereby declare and resolve as following. Whereas the Honorable Dan Medina is known and recognized as a prominent elected official, civic leader, and dedicated citizen of this community, and the closure of his municipal service is respectfully acknowledged by the officials, employees, and citizenry of Gardena. And whereas Mr. Medina has served the City of Gardena with great loyalty in the position of council member, first elected in November 2008, followed by his re-election as a council member in 2 succeeding municipal elections, resulting in over 11 years of notable city leadership. And whereas during his time of service, Dan Medina has consistently strived to protect city services, has given strong support of the city's vision for the future, and is to be highly commended for his work with the council colleagues and city staff during his tenure as a member of the city council, and to restore and continue the city's economic vitality. And whereas he was selected by his city council colleagues to chair the City of Gardena's Beautification Committee, and in addition to his municipal service as a member of the Gardena City Council, Mr. Dan Medina is serving with distinction as a trustee of the board of the Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District, which includes serving as the president of the district's Mobile Science and Vector Education Foundation. And further, he represents the city as its delegate and past chair on the board of the South Bay Cities Council of Government, which is the SBCCOG, and also the SBCCOG on the Energy and Environment and Transportation Committees, and the District Evaluation Subcommittee of the Southern California Association of Governments, also known as SCAG, and on the Metro South Bay Service Council. He has also been Gardena's delegate to the West Basin Water Association, as well as the city's alternate delegate to the County of Los Angeles Sanitation District Number 5 and the Centinela Youth Services. Additionally, for the past 3 terms, Mr. Medina has represented the city of Hawthorne, Inglewood, and Gardena on SCAG District 28 Regional Council. And whereas as a longtime resident, Dan Medina is a very familiar face in our community, who has served as president and held other leadership positions in countless local service organizations, including the Gardena Valley Lions Club, the Carson Gardena Dominguez Rotary Club, the Gardena Carson Family YMCA, the Gardena Cinco de Mayo Festival Committee, and the Kiwanis Club of Gardena Valley, the Gardena Valley Democratic Club, and the Mexican American Democratic Club, which is based in Gardena. And whereas in conclusion, we are pleased to bestow the title of Council Member Emeritus upon the Honorable Dan Medina, effective March 2020, in recognition of his outstanding years of service to the citizens of Gardena, California, his unselfish commitment to public service, as well as his personal and professional interest in the growth and progress of this community and its inhabitants, are deserving of public recognition and tribute. So now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Gardena, California, the official commendation, together with sincere appreciation, are hereby extended to Dan Medina on behalf of the officials, employees, and citizens of the city, all of whom join in wishing him good health, much happiness, and success in all future endeavors. So this resolution has been respectfully passed, approved, and adopted at the City of Gardena, California's February 25th, 2020 City Council meeting. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, I do. I would. I didn't realize how busy I was. I believe, just like a lot of the a lot of the commissioners that were decommissionized tonight, they did it for the love of doing it. Jeez Louise. Okay. One of the reasons why people volunteer to do things is because they love to do it. And I'm very blessed that I got to do what I love to do, and that's to serve. I serve my community. I've served my country. And when you love a city, you do the best you can. And for those of you out on TV land, the people you see on the dais are not doing what they're doing because of the money. Trust me. Most of you spend more money on gas than we do for getting paid. So now that I'm leaving, I can tell you I make a whopping $600 a month to serve my community, and everyone on the dais does the same thing. If they didn't love their city, they wouldn't volunteer to do what they do. You spend $30, $40, $50,000 just to run for a position where you'll get paid $600 a month. It's a labor of love. It's a commitment to your community to let people know that you're there to represent them. And I pray that all of you continue the same things that you're doing now, which is to represent your community and to the best of your ability. And I've gotten a lot of compliments from other city mayors and council people from around the city. At SCAG, I have 119 cities, and they all speak highly of the decorum that the city of Gardena has on the dais. They try to emulate what we do, and they'll never catch up to what we do, but they can try. And I want to thank all my all my commissioners who volunteered, some as long as 11 years. And I thank all of them for volunteering their time to help our community be what it is today. And thank you for the honor of bestowing City Council Emeritus to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So next, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Medina's his commissioners here. And as I call your name, please come forward. First, it's Steve Sherman, who is a member and vice chair of the Planning and Environmental Quality Commission. Next, we have Richard Luna, who is a Human Services Commissioner. We also have Lucia Ordonez, thank you, who is the Gardena Youth Commissioner. We have Carlos Lefosho, who is the Gardena Economic Business Advisory Council. We have Mo Shamarian, who is Gardena Economic Business Advisory Council. Also, we have Tracy Solomon Clark, who is a Gardena Rent Mediation Board tenant representative. We have Gerlin E. Munoz, who is a Gardena Rent Mediation Board owner representative. We also have Florence Bagsby, who is a Gardena Rent Mediation Board member at large rep. We have Gail M. Ladoner, who is a member of the Gardena Beautification Committee. And I believe that's everybody there. So I'm just going to read you what one of the certificates says. I didn't want to read it for everybody here, but it says a certificate of recognition is being presented to each one of them. It's an official acknowledgement and genuine appreciation for their time and their exemplary service and their dedication and community leadership in their respective positions here. So we, the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of Gardena, do hereby deem it a distinct honor and pleasure to commend you for your efforts and to extend our sincere best wishes for a good health, happiness, and well-deserved success in all of your future endeavors. And this certificate has been signed by all of the City Council members. So congratulations and thank you for your service to the City of Gardena, to Councilmember Medina as well. We totally appreciate you because it was a lot of time, effort, and hours and years that you donated. And if any of you would like to say anything, well, first off, let's give them a round of applause. And if any of you would like to say anything, you have the mic at this time.
Come on, Steve.
Go ahead.
Come on, Steve.
My name is Gerlin Munoz, Commissioner for Remediation, Owner Representative. I definitely want to thank you for the opportunity to work for the city. I learned a lot, very educational, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I too would like to say thank you. Tracy Solomon Clark, Rent Remediation, representing the tenants. Thank you so very much for allowing me to serve. Thank you, Councilman Medina. This has been a real true experience, and I love the city of Gardena. I absolutely loved it. My husband and I have been here more than 10 years, and this is the place that we landed and said we were going to grow roots here. And so I just had an amazing time serving the people of Gardena. Thank you so very much.
Hello, my name's Lucia Ordonez, and I'm the youth commissioner. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's definitely helped me establish what I want to do in the future, and I hope to keep continuing and helping out the community. Thank you for the opportunity again. Thanks.
First of all, my name is Richard Luna, and I want to thank Dan Medina for trusting me and believing in me. He saw things in me that I didn't even know I had. And I want to thank the mayor and the councilman, and also I want to thank my wife for putting up with me. And I want to thank the Gardena Police Department for letting me be one of their volunteers. And again, thank you, Dan. You're the greatest.
Okay.
Come on, chicken.
Yeah, well, thank you. At any rate, I serve on the Planning Commission, Steve Sherman, and no problem. I continue to work with the Planning Commission. I enjoy it, and thank you, Dan, for appointing me. So anyway, thank you.
Okay, give him a round of applause. Thank you again so much for your service. Okay, next we have a proclamation here. March 2020 is Women's History Month. In 1987, Congress established March to be Women's History Month to recognize the achievements of American women of every race, class, and ethnic background that have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation. The Women's History Month theme for 2020 is Valiant Women of the Vote. This theme is to honor the brave women who fought to win suffrage rights for women and for the women who continue to fight for the voting rights of others. So we hereby proclaim the month of March 2020 to be Women's History Month. And in the city of Gardena, we encourage all of our citizens to recognize and honor the spirits, leadership, and the vital and enduring contributions of women in our community in Gardena, California, and throughout our entire nation. So next we're going to move on to appointments. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any committees, commissions, or councils or boards at this time? If not, we're going to move on to our consent calendar. Does any member of the council have any items that they'd like to discuss separately? Okay, Madam City Clerk, has any member of the public wish to speak or ask for any of the items to be spoken on separately?
No, none have asked.
Okay. That being said, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as is?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Tasha, excuse me, Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
And Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next is Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. Just of note, the February 18, 2020 meeting was canceled, so we're going to move on to oral communications. Tonight we have two speakers. The first one is Ms. Cheryl Sherman, and the second one is Ms. Charlotte Lynch. You can come forward at this time. I want to remind all of our speakers that you are limited to 3 minutes to speak. When the yellow light comes on, that will alert you that your 2 minutes are up, and when the red light comes on, that will alert you that your 3 minutes are up. And we just ask if we can just keep to that time.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Cheryl Sherman, Vice President of Friends of Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve. And I would like to remind everyone of our new schedule, that the preserve is now open every weekend, every Saturday from 9 to 1, and every Sunday from 1 to 4. The Saturdays are self-guided tours, and on the second Sunday of the month, we have a docent-led tour if you'd like to take that tour, or you can go on a self-guided tour on your own. We're also open every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you can come during the week and enjoy the preserve. Right now, the preserve is beautiful. With the weather that we've been having, the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, the butterflies are flying. I mean, everybody's coming out. The hummingbirds are busy building their nests. I mean, there's lots of activity going on in the preserve as far as nature-wise, and it's a lot of fun. So if you have children, it's really a wonderful educational outing for them. And for adults, you can find a bench, read a book, or if you're into photography, it's a great place to take pictures. We have lots to offer right here in the city of Gardena. So I encourage everyone to come and enjoy the Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Lynch.
Good evening, Mayor Serta, City Council, and City staff. My name is Charlotte Lynch. My address is a matter of record. I'm here this evening kind of twofold. The first one is to congratulate Councilman Dan Medina on a wonderful job you've done with the city. Enjoy retirement. I'm sure we'll see you around at many of the city functions. And I do believe that Mayor Serta stole my words by saying brainchild. I know I have mentioned it earlier, and thanked you graciously and openly about starting up the program for recognizing veterans. And with that note in mind, I've certainly enjoyed coming to the meetings to recognize the veterans that have been recognized. As an American Gold Star mother and my husband Chris, a dad, we are thankful for it. Chris has put a lot of effort into recognizing our veterans also by meeting with them and writing articles and getting them in the GVN. And the main purpose behind this evening is Gary Kohatsu, the editor of GVN, has opened it up to Chris to write articles on veterans brought forth by their families. They want to tell their story because they are not here. And so far he has done two, and their stories are absolutely fantastic. And so I'm coming to ask of the council if you might consider recognizing families or veterans of families that want their story told of their loved one. Thank you very much. And Dan, excuse me, about to be emeritus, this is for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to thank the Lynch family for, thank you, for carrying forth the torch to acknowledge veterans. A lot of them paid the ultimate price, as you well know, but a lot of them out there have not been thanked yet. And I thank you for your efforts. I applaud you for carrying it even further. And no, I'm not going away. I'll still be volunteering. I'm working with the Veterans Administration to get more people acknowledged, especially the homeless veterans, to get them more acknowledgement, more benefits, and more importantly, recognition. So, thank you.
Okay. So next we're going to move on to our council items. First item is item number 8D1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8D1 is to approve the purchase order to Altec Industries, Inc. for Altec model LR7-60E70, articulating aerial device, tree truck in the amount of $181,062 and a 2019 Vermeer BC 1000 XL 49 12-inch brush chipper with 49 horsepower Tier 4F engine in the amount of $42,608.86 for Public Works Maintenance Equipment Purchase Job Number 954. The purchase of the tree truck would replace a 2002 tree trimming truck which has reached the end of its useful life and falls below current air quality standards. The proposed truck is a 2021 Freightliner with an over-center articulating aerial device, and it will come with a certified clean idle and will be incorporated into Public Works General Services Clean Air Fleet. In addition, purchasing a wood chipper would increase productivity by eliminating the need to load tree trimming debris and make multiple trips to unload at the Public Works yard. The wood chipper would also allow staff to break down debris into mulch, eliminating the need to dump multiple times during each trimming. This item will be funded by SB1 for the City Council approval action on April 23rd, 2019, in reference to Resolution Number 6375, adopting a list of fiscal year 2019-2020 projects for the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017. The identified projects have also been approved by the State Transportation Commission in May 2019. The purchase will be through Sourcewell Grounds Maintenance Contract. Sourcewell contracts are state contracts that result in significant cost savings to the city. Sourcewell contracts allow vendors an opportunity to compete with their lowest bids and enables municipalities to obtain the overall best price for their procurement. The budget amount for this is $223,670.86, and the funding source is SB1 Gas Tax Fund.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Going to start here. Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm really glad that you're getting a chipper because I had my own landscaping company a long time ago when I had hair, and lifting those tree stumps, it's a bear. I mean, it truly is when you have a crew of maybe 3 or 4, and this chipper reduces a whole lot of labor and a whole lot of tension, and it's long time due. The chipper will reduce the time frame of knocking some of those trees down and getting them out to put them away. Those stumps sometimes get big, as you know. Our trees are not necessarily small, but I'm really glad you're getting the chipper in, and the truck was long overdue. So I'm really hoping that we pass this through because the maintenance workers work hard, and we don't need to have them working harder. Especially the chipper will reduce a lot of labor.
Okay, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, and I do agree with my colleague on that one. In regards to because this is actually feeding into our sustainability initiatives that we're trying to do, and I'm not sure if this is a directive or anything, but do we have a percentage of how far we've gone with replacement of our vehicles as far as, this vehicle's 18 years old plus? Do we have a percentage of what our fleet's looking like in regards to old gas, diesel versus new CNG type stuff?
So, Councilman Henderson, the equipment replacement and vehicle replacement funds have been incorporated into our budgets probably the last year or two. So I would say that the percentage of the vehicles that have been replaced with more renewable sources is probably fairly low at this point. But we'll get to a point where we'll start replacing them as we get more funding through the budget process year after year. Then we start replacing them. Then the number should go up. We don't have the I don't have a percentage right now, but I imagine it's fairly low.
Okay. The second question is then, in regards to, because we're using our gas tax properly, what's the remaining balance on that? Do we still have to keep applying for it, or?
So this is for the SB1. So we haven't used much of it. We do have about $1.1 million in there, I believe.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Cascani.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What do we do with all the equipments?
So Mayor Pro Tem, they get auctioned off usually in one of those surplus auctions.
Yes.
Well,
And do we get the money, goes back to the general fund, or it goes to the?
whatever the replacement was has to go back to the same funding source. So in this case, it'll likely go to SB1 and gas tax.
And you mentioned that we have 1.1 million still, some money left. Do we have to use all the money every year? If we don't use it, does it go back, or I mean?
So you have to use up a certain amount every year. It's called the maintenance of effort. So the projects have been delayed. That's why the balance is still there. But as we move along, the projects that I mentioned, obviously the balances will eventually get lower and lower.
Yeah, so we have to use all the balance, pretty much 90%, in order to.
You would have to at some point. You'd have to, because there's a budget that's attached to it. Then you'd have to follow the projects that are in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Tanaka, do you have no questions? Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, can I get a motion to approve the purchase order?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cascanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
And Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 8F1, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8F1 is an authorization to execute a 3-year professional services agreement with Civic Rec Civic Plus. The agreement with Civic Rec Civic Plus is for a recreation management system to add technology that will allow staff the ability to more efficiently manage the department's point-of-sale transactions and provide residents and visitors with the ability to view and book services in their leisure with 24/7 accessibility to the system. 3 quotes and demonstrations were received for evaluation, and after a thorough review, Civic Rec Civic Plus was identified as the best complete solution for the department's needs. The other 2 firms were Perfect Mind and Community Pass. Recreation and Human Services Department will use the recreation management system to manage program registration for classes, after-school program, day camp, sports league, and facility reservations. It would also be used by our Senior Citizens Bureau and Human Services to track volunteer hours, attendance, statistics, and much, much more. Staff anticipates that registration for classes, facility reservations, and sports leagues will increase due to this new software. The Recreation and Parks Commission were included in the review and demonstration process, and at their February 10, 2020 meeting, they voted to support the recommendation to purchase the recreation management system. Contract terms will commence on July 1st, 2020 and conclude on June 30th, 2023. However, the city will maintain the right to terminate or change service levels at the end of each year and all subsequent years thereafter. The projected cost is estimated to be $50,410 with a cost savings of $5,952 due to the elimination of Appointment Plus and Teams sideline software programs currently in use. Fiscal impact for 2020-2021 is approximately 28,381. General fund will be subsidizing about 10,000 of that, and the rest will be paid for by the Recreation Division Trust.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, was there more? That's it? Okay. Any questions, comments? Councilmember Henderson.
Of course, you know, this excites me to no end. Mr. City Manager, in regards to the credit card data and all that personal information, identifiable information, that will be held in Civic Plus's databases and everything, and it won't be held on site here at City.
That's correct. They have their own payment system built in, and all that is encrypted with the latest security features.
Any other questions? I have one. So I noticed where it said we didn't have any type of management software system before. So this is our first time doing it. In the past, they were just manually counting the hours and, I mean, on paper. Paper and pencil.
So what we mean by we didn't have a management software in the past is that we didn't have an all-inclusive system that manages everything. As we pointed out, we have Appointment Plus for setting up appointments, and then we have the team sideline software, to book certain things. So this really brings it all together without going into the full ERP suite that costs millions of dollars to incorporate with our financial system.
How many hours do you anticipate this will probably save as far as an employee time?
I don't know.
If you know.
I don't know personally that the savings on the hours.
If you happen to know, if you
do
don't,
we have
I'm not going to hold you to it.
Mayor Serta and mayors of the city council, members of the city council. I don't know the exact hours, but it will be a time saving for our staff because right now we currently use spreadsheets for pretty much everything, and everything is handwritten first. So anything that we receive as far as registration is a handwritten application, then it's typed into an Excel spreadsheet, and then from there we calculate information. So the system would basically be a one-time whoever signs up for a class would enter their own information, and then that information is stored. So basically, like if you have a family of 5 children, this system will actually have a calendar for you. It'll show you what days your kids have to go to certain classes. It automatically, let's say there's 2 levels of ballet. So you have to take ballet 1 to go to ballet 2. It won't let you register for ballet 2 unless you go to ballet 1. So the system itself will basically save us a lot of time. It also has a sports component, which is replacing team sideline, which allows for a better way for us to track sports, and also to determine the teams. So once we do our review of skills, we enter that, and the system will actually populate it and make it so the teams are even.
Okay.
So it's definitely going to save us time.
Okay. Wow, that sounds really good. And so if there's a parent who, let's just say, doesn't happen to have a computer or something, they can still come here and somebody can help them.
So the process
register.
doesn't change. If they come to the Nakaoka Community Center, we can help them.
Okay.
I believe we're also going to incorporate that into our kiosk that's in the front lobby. So if somebody wants to use it, it's all web-based, so it should work from anywhere. If you have a cell phone or smartphone, you should be able to use it as well.
Okay, sounds good. I guess I just started a bunch more questions. Let's start with Mayor Pro Tem and then Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Santin, is this gonna eliminate any employee from doing his job?
No.
So basically, an employee, if he was working from, let's say, 8 to 5, for example, or overtime doing the spreadsheet, he couldn't finish it up or she couldn't finish it up. So is this gonna save us some money, that $50,000 that we are investing in?
So it's going to improve customer service, which is something that you can't really put a price tag on. But in addition to that, yes, it will save us time, so we can focus our energy on something else. So some of the so basically now you would be able to go to any park and reserve your either your park reservation or your child's class. Yes. So it'll definitely save the residents time, because now the process was if you went to the park and we couldn't sign you up there because we didn't have the information, you'd have to come to Nakaoka. So now you're able to basically do any reservations from anywhere. The time that we'll save, we are going to look into seeing how we can use our staff for other things. There's definitely room for improvement, and so this will allow us to do so.
Thank you.
No problem.
Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Santine, I was actually going to echo your point that with the advent of such a system, it definitely will improve our customer service, because a lot of the tasks as far as scheduling and paying for classes and everything can be done all around the clock. So for those that still want to have that face-to-face personal touch, they can still call in, and also they don't have to always come down to Nakioka, because now you can do it actually at our remote site. So it actually gives our staff an opportunity to be a little bit more high touch with our community for those that actually need that support and everything. So I think this is a great investment, actually.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mayor Serta?
Mr. City Manager?
Yes. So while we don't have any data right now because it's fairly new to us, I think it's a good idea to during the 1 year mark to provide a report on our experience and what exactly have we saved as far as man hours is concerned.
I think that would be appropriate. Okay, thank you. So if there are no more questions, can I get a motion to authorize the agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Councilmember Medina. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cascanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8F2. Mr. City Manager?
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8F2 is approval of the 4th of July fireworks contract between the City of Gardena and Pyro Spectaculars, Inc. Staff respectfully recommends approval of one of the proposed contracts with Pyro Spectaculars, Inc. for the city's annual 4th of July fireworks show at Raleigh Memorial Park. On April 22nd, 2019, a request for proposal, or RFP, for the annual 4th of July fireworks show was posted through Planet Bids, and unfortunately, the city did not receive any bids through the site. City staff then reached out to Pyro Spectaculars, Garden State, and Zambelli Fireworks to obtain quotes for our annual show. Pyro Spectaculars, Inc. was the lowest responsible bidder. Pyro Spectaculars, Inc. is a full-service program that includes a fireworks display that will last approximately 18 to 20 minutes, the services of a licensed pyrotechnic operator, specialized crew, an electronic firing system, and safety equipment for support and protection. The proposed price also includes insurance coverage, sales tax, and delivery. Pyro Spectaculars, Inc. is a reputable company with a proven track record that has served the city in the past. Pyro Spectaculars has offered two options. Option one is a contract that includes 1 year commitment for $35,000. Or option two is a contract that includes a 3-year commitment totaling $99,999, which includes a $5,001 discount for year one and locks in years 2 and 3 at $35,000 a year. In addition to the cost savings, option two also ensures the city has a scheduled fireworks show on the 4th of July. If the city's professional fireworks show is canceled related to changes to the city's municipal code, the contract includes a termination clause limiting the city's liability for early cancellation. So again, the option one is 1 year for $35,000, or option two, year one for $29,999. Year one. Option two, year one is $29,999. Year two is $35,000, and year three is $35,000. So in the event that we cancel this after year one, that we receive the discount, we would have to refund or pay back the discount that we received in year one.
Okay, before I open this up for questions, if I'm not mistaken, last year we were spending what, 15,000, 18,000, somewhere in there. Is that correct? Do we have last year's numbers?
Yeah, I think it was about 20, 25, 26,000. The reason why this went up is that was a different vendor, Expo Fireworks.
Okay.
And it was molded on to an old grandfathered contract. So breaking off from that contract caused the increase.
Okay, and then, so this company said they've worked with us before. I know it wasn't last year, but was it the year before that, or?
So this is probably 2 years, 2 consecutive years ago. It was for we used Expo, and then I think the the third year before, and before that would be pyro.
Okay, because I know last year's show did not go off well. I was there, and this is no reflection of our staff. This is the company. And the year before that, it was even worse. I mean, the show just stopped. I mean, 15 minutes in, it was 15 minutes. First, I think it started off 15 minutes late. 15 minutes in, or 20 minutes in, it stopped, and then the lights came on. They started back up again. It was terrible. I mean, the whole experience was really bad. And I've been going to this show since 1978 when my family first moved here. And I mean, it was just embarrassing. But if we're now talking about going to a contract that's in the 30s now, and I don't know what kind of commitment we can get from these companies to ensure that everything's going to go off well, because this was all a result of whoever was discharging the fireworks here. I mean, it was ridiculous. So I don't know what type of guarantee we can have, because after the fact, you know, to say, oh, it didn't work out right, we're only going to pay you half the amount. I mean, it was just not good. And then now we're talking about contracts where they can 3 years in. I'm not even open to that, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about it. But I mean, everybody at this point needs to be on a 1-year trial until they get it right. So, if any of you guys have any comments or questions, anybody? Oh, okay, we'll start here. Councilmember Henderson, and we'll go this way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that discount of $5,001 and everything to lock in for those 2 additional years, and I think we're all around that part of town when that happens, and it just never really works out right. So as you stated, after the fact, it's kind of hard so we got to figure out what we can do. Is there any way we can make it contingent? I'm kind of with you, just a 1-year kind of trial, just to see and have some metrics or something that they have to meet, that it's got to start on time, it's got to go 18 to 20 minutes, no hiccups in between, and or if there are, we got to get some sort of compensation in return or something like that, if we could work it, something like that.
So, Councilman Henderson, it's my understanding that last year the cost of the fireworks show, we did not pay for that show. Now, as far as the pyro company, you can lock in the 3 years, right, for the pricing, but you're not locked into you can't cancel the contract. I mean, after the first year, if if you're not satisfied, obviously you can cancel that. Obviously, if it's malfunction or the show is not as advertised, then we can specify in the contract that there should be some repayback of certain funds.
Councilmember, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Cascania.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was there last year too. I had to wait about 15-20 minutes for the show to go off. Lights went out. I don't want to repeat what the Madam Mayor said, but in my opinion, you do a good job, you get paid. You don't do a good job, we don't pay you. I mean, I'm looking at it a business way. I'm a businessman, so that's how I look at it. So by us, committing for 3 years and pay them $99,000 shy from $100,000. How about if they don't do a good job and we have to pay another $5,000 just to breach the contract, right?
That's correct. You'd have to repay the $5,000 discount that you received.
Okay. Is there any way we can reach out to other companies? I mean, there is gazillion company out there, I'm assuming, that they do pyrotechnic fireworks, right?
It's my understanding that Pyro Spectaculars is one of the better ones. They're one of the...
Yeah, but we're going up with the prices for 18, 20 minutes, $35,000 versus $25,000. It was more than 20 minutes. It's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not in favor. I'm sorry. I don't want to burn the money up in the sky, that much money. So.
Okay, as we continue to go forward, just 2 things I just want to mention. We're kind of known in Gardena for having this fireworks show. I mean, it's a big deal that happens every year. And I just feel like because we've had a couple of bad experiences, and it's not like it just happens right here, but this is like a couple of thousand people are there, so it's quite embarrassing, and people hear about it. In fact, where was it? What city was that? Was it Rolling Heights? Somebody from there overheard about how bad our experience was last year, because they even sent us a list of some better proposed companies, to go with. And so when word travels like that, it's really kind of embarrassing. So I just am very much not comfortable going with 3 years, but I think maybe if one of these companies are even open to saying 1 year because of our bad experience we've had, and would give us a decent price, and then we would feel more comfortable with it. Councilmember Medina?
Well, I'd like to make a proposal. You say that this is one of the better companies, and they obviously are giving us a discount for job security, so they could have another 2 more years. Well, I'd like to make a proposal that we take the $35,000 bid, and if they do a good job, then we'll extend the other 2 years with a $5,000 discount, as opposed to doing it the first time. Because if we don't like it the first time, that's the end of the contract. So I would propose that we take the $35,000 bid, and if they do a great job, then we'll extend the 2 other years at $29,000, whatever. But like you said, if the only job I know of that you can get it wrong and still get paid is a weatherman. They say it's going to rain and it doesn't rain. They say it's going to be sunny and it's not sunny, but they still get paid. In this case, it's something that you see. They're laughing. It's something that you see, and you can say it's a good job or a bad job. So I would suggest making it a one-time deal, and if they do a good job, then we could renew it at the discount, or 2 years at a discount. But there's no way to predict what they're going to do. As long as they give us a timeline and we approve it, then obviously they either they either accomplish or don't accomplish what they say they're going to do.
Mayor Serta, did I invite Director Santin to chime in as well?
Okay. Well, before you chime in, let me just get the comment, because it from everybody, and then you can offer that as well.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we're looking at $35,000 just for one event, but that's not the only cost. Chief, how much do we pay in overtime? Okay, so we're looking at another $15,000 just for security, and then we have to have our Parks and Recreation people. Kevin, how much does that cost us the next day to clean up the park?
Normally, we don't put you on the spot.
Well, I'm sorry, but so what I'm trying to get at is, okay, so we're looking at $35,000 just for fireworks, but that doesn't include all the other costs. So this inevitably could cost us upwards to $75,000-$80,000 for a fireworks show. For 15 or 20 minutes. Is that what we want to do? I mean, right now I think it's pretty crazy.
Well, I'm not saying that it's not worth it. I just want to be cautious as we continue to move forward. So,
Right.
Not that I think we have to decide on this today, and we're still
Right.
going to give Ms. Santin an
We should
opportunity to
look at
speak.
other options.
But I would like to possibly also see some recommendations from this company from other cities, just that they've had a good experience or something. I need for me, I need a little bit more recommendations from other cities. And like I said, we don't have. This is just February. We still have a little bit more time before we have to make a decision. So, Ms. Santin, did you want to offer something else?
So the previous 2 years, that was actually a different company. The company that we're going with, or we're trying to contract with, is the company that we used to use, which we didn't really ever have issues, and they put on a good show. Okay. What happened was, I think it was 2 years ago, we decided to try something new, and I think it backfired on us once. Mm-hmm. But what happens is that 4th of July is the most popular day of the year to have a fireworks show. And so you have to reserve it basically starting December or earlier. You have to reach out and try to find a company that's available. So there are limited numbers of companies.
Okay.
Last year we looked everywhere. We went on I don't know how many websites to try to find a company, but none of them will provide fireworks of this magnitude. And normally they're already booked for 4th of July.
Okay.
So this year we started earlier put it on Planet Bids hoping that we'd reach a larger audience, and we didn't get one response. So most fireworks shows for other cities are upwards into the 60, 70,000s, even up to 100,000. So we're a small show, and we're gonna take up the biggest day of the year, or the most popular day of the year.
Okay.
So that's why when we did receive a bid from them, we wanted to see if we could lock in that date to ensure that we had the 4th of July date, but also have a way out of the contract in case something changed in the city. So the discount is actually providing us with a $5,000 discount the first year, but also ensuring our next 2 years don't go up in price. Because every year we'd basically go out for another RFP or look for another company to provide the service. And there's no guarantee that we'd have the July 4th date and that they would guarantee that price. So it's locking it in depending on what's going on, the circumstances behind fireworks, politics, just imports, exports. Most of the stuff comes from a different country. So that way it locked our price in. But this company is the company that we used to use where we never did receive complaints about fireworks.
And when we used them before, how many years do you know?
I want to say it was about 16, 17 years. So we were partners with them for a very long time, and we never had issues. The last few years, and I was there last year dodging fireworks, we were not happy with that company.
Right.
But they were the only ones that were available on July 4th. So other cities have decided to do it July 3rd, July 5th, but it all depends. If we want to keep the July 4th date, then we're limited on the vendors that we can provide or use.
Now, when we left the company a couple of years ago, did we leave because the price we were just trying to get better pricing, or why did we leave at the time?
So I think we were sold on something with music and having a different opportunity to do something different. I think it was supposed to coincide with the music, and I'm not sure what the background behind that is, but basically we thought, let's try another company that promised us a lot. At the end, they overpromised and underdelivered. So now we're going back with something that is reliable. We've never had an issue with them. The feedback that we received was positive.
Okay, got it. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Santin, we do this, it's all free, right? Is there any way we can recoup some of our money by getting some vendors on site? Maybe we can sell spots, rent spots, or, I mean, as Councilman Tanaka mentioned, it's going to cost us $70,000 easily, between overtime on the law enforcement. Next day, Kevin sent his crew to clean the area. Even though they are on payroll, I mean, it's on their hours, but still, it's a lot of work. So, is there anything that we might be able,
I mean, there's definitely possibilities. We can look to have food trucks or some kind of vendors that have to pay to be at the site. We could also look into charging for the event. I mean, it could be that we charge at the door a few dollars. It definitely won't recuperate the entire cost, but we can look at ways to recuperate some of the expense.
No, we are known as free, so I want to keep it free for the public, Otherwise, everybody goes to their backyard and just watch it.
So we could have vendors. We can have vendors have vendor spots or sell vendor spots and see if anyone's interested in having either food or the light sticks and all that other stuff that they have for 4th of July. Maybe some face painting. I mean, there's different things that we can do to try to get more people to come out. We can sell blankets.
Family picnic day,
Yeah, and usually the people that are there come really early. I mean, they're there all day long.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Councilmember Medina?
Is there any chance that you could ask them if they will take that $35,000 and then discount the second and third year, just as an offer? Because it's not a rock solid deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't offer the discount. I'm thinking as far as common sense is concerned, they want a 3-year guaranteed job, as far as employment is concerned. So if we make a bid at $35,000 the first time, because the other costs are inevitable. It doesn't matter if we pay $10,000, we still have to pay for the police, we still have to pay for our volunteers, we still have to clean up the next day. That's not going to stop. But the cost of having a good fireworks show would guarantee them 2 years in the future if they do a good job for the 35,000 and give us a discount on the second and third year. If you can make that offer, I don't know if they're willing to accept it or not, but it's one way of ensuring that we'll get a good fireworks show, because the whole premise of what we're talking about was a good fireworks show as opposed to a lousy fireworks show.
Sorry, just to be clear, you're saying to pay 35 the first year and then a discount the following year? So reverse the discount, so, okay, I got it. It would still be the same amount, it would just be that we pay less the third year?
Well, no, the thing is that we're not committed for the full 3 years. If they do a lousy job, why would we want to hire them again? The whole premise is that we want a good job. We want a good fireworks show. If they're trying to get in, giving us a discount, they're guaranteed another 2 extra years. And if it's a lousy show, we're stuck. We signed a contract. We're stuck for 3 years.
Any other comments, questions?
Mayor Serta?
Yes, go ahead.
Just want to add that if the only way out of the 3-year contract, just to clarify, is that if there is a change in our municipal code. Other than that, I believe it's 50%.
It would be if we were to cancel after year 1. If we choose option 2, which is a 3-year contract, and after year 1 we choose to cancel the contract, it's a 50% that we would have to pay on it. That's the penalty for canceling year 2 and 3. So then your option of you have the option of entering into option 1, which is for $35,000, and the only risk that you're taking then is that the price may go up for 2 or 3, but at least you would know that you're happy with the services that you received in year 1, and you're not committed to year 2 or 3. We're having to pay 50% of the amounts for year 2 and 3.
I see.
That's why I make the offer of having the discount on the second year and possibly the third. All they can say is no.
How much were the other 2 companies charging?
Do we have that information or no?
We don't have that. The only number we have is the 25,000 that the previous company used to charge us, but that was on a grandfathered
That's
contract.
this company, but it was many years ago.
This was the 2 years ago. The year ago and the 2 years ago. It was,
So Garden State and Zambelli Fireworks, we don't know what they were actually quoting us? It says that we had 3. Pyro Spectaculars, Garden State, and Zambelli.
They had to be higher than Pyro because, well.
So one refused to quote us and the other one was higher. So we went with Pyro. I think it was because of the relationship.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
To Mayor Pro Tem's point, though, so July 4th is a Saturday this year, and Friday is the holiday. So as we're talking about, and again, it won't offset all the costs, but if we turned it into a thing for, we love doing festivals and overtime and all that, we'd have the 2-day shot window of having something Friday, festival all day or something, and something on that 4th of July and the fireworks show. Everybody's making some valid points in regards to it's a lot of money, it's a lot of overtime, it's a lot of indirect and incurred costs. We want to keep it free for the community. Councilman Medina saying again, also we don't want to lock them in for the 3-year period, but I'm thinking there's a way to do something different like we've always done. This is a reputable company. However, we got an opportunity to do something different by expanding that 4th of July celebration by having something else at the park, possibly food trucks or something like that, or something that's just an option.
Well, I know we're kind of going a little off key here a little bit, but so if the 4th of July is on a Saturday, you're saying have the food trucks on that Friday as well? Or wouldn't it be earlier that day? People are going to get that Friday off as well? Yeah. I work for an independent, so we don't get it like that. So, okay. I just get Saturday and Sunday off. Okay. I see what you're saying here.
We don't have to. I'm just saying it's something to kind of look at.
So now the city would be looking at doing a 2-day type of thing versus a Well, let's first do this. Let's first do this here. Let's see if this motion goes anywhere here. I'll make the motion in just a moment here. But if it doesn't, then the staff can go back and look at some other options. But let's just first, are there any more questions or comments at this time? If there's not, let me just, where are we here? Let me just make a motion to approve the contract. And I'm actually looking at right now, after hearing all of this discussion here, at option 2. And if there's a second, then we can do a roll call. If there's not a second, then it dies. I'll ask if there's a motion for option 1, and we can go through it that way. And if not, then it'll go back to the staff. Understood? Okay, so right now I'm looking at option 2, and I'll make the motion to approve that contract. Is there a second? No second? Okay. I'll also make the motion that we approve the contract with option number 1. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by myself for option number 1 of $35,000 and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Serta,
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
okay,
Sorry.
thank you. That's all right. Councilman Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cascanian,
No.
Councilmember Medina,
No.
Councilmember Tanaka.
No.
Okay, so at this time it dies. And what I'll ask is if the staff, if you could look at some other options and bring it back to us. Okay? All
Yes,
right.
Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to move on to council items and directives. So we're going to begin first with the council. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem is a mess. I'm not sure if it's a directive or it's a question. While I was out walking this weekend, somebody brought something to my attention, and I love when people do that, especially in our community. I would love a second, or maybe the chief can probably weigh in. But I recall there was a study done some time ago that there are no stop signs on 144th going east and west between Crenshaw and Van Ness. And all those streets are T's going north. So Spinning, Dublin, Roxton, none of them has stop signs, and 144th is a straight shot. So people can actually speed from Crenshaw behind Big Lots all the way over to Van Ness. But I remember we talked about this before, but I can't remember what happened with that.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, we've done multiple studies in that area. The last one off the top of my head was off of 147th. In order to do that, we would have to do another speed survey as things change, and we would probably go that route to determine whether there need to be stop signs there. But I can tell you from my memory is that I know east and west streets all the way from Van Ness to Crenshaw, and then Rosecrans all the way down to Manhattan Beach Boulevard. Really, we've done a lot of studies for those streets.
So do we have an old study for that we could just kind of refer to?
I can research that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So do you need a second on that directive? That we bring back that information, or?
I'll second it.
Okay, a second.
Thank you.
Are there any other directives at this time? If not, Mr. City Manager will open up to your directives or your remarks regarding our previous directives.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In your packets, I have a memo in response to the council directive to provide a full report regarding our operational experience with our former grant writers, California Consulting. Also have a memo in response to another council directive for a salary survey for grant writers in the region. The February to July 2020 edition of the Live, Work, Play playbook is out. So be on a lookout in your mailbox. The Afternoon in the Park, a celebration of Black History, is on Saturday, February 29th, 2020, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Raleigh Park. The Gardena The 33rd Annual Gardena Cymbidium Orchid Show is Saturday, February 29, 2020 from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, March 1st, 2020 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Nakauka Community Center. The 46th Annual Koi Show is not this Saturday, but on Saturday, March 14, 2020 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sunday, March 15, 2020 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Nakauka Center. The Gardena's All In Viva Las Vegas event is on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Nakauka Community Center. The price is $25 for hors d'oeuvres, 1 drink ticket, and a chips starter pack. And lastly, the Youth Chess Tournament is on Saturday, March 20, 2020 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Nakauka Community Center. Madam Mayor, so ends my report.
Okay, thank you. So next we're going to move on to council remarks. We're going to begin tonight with Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I've been attending the SCAG, the Southern California Association of Governments, which represents 119 cities in LA County, Orange County, and Riverside County. And again, one of the biggest issues coming up that's affecting all of the counties, and that's housing. One of the reasons for our homeless is that they can't afford to live in certain homes. Some can't afford the rent, some can't even afford to buy a home. And we're working with Mayor Garcetti to see if we can have some temporary homes set up, as well as some temporary porta potties and mobile washing trucks to help people clean up. And that seems to be a big urgency because of the housing situation. Ventura County is in desperate need of people to rent and buy homes because no one's buying homes. No one's renting homes, especially in Ventura County. Everyone's moving over toward Marino, Riverside, Corona, but everyone's evacuating LA. So keep a lookout on that. We're trying to work out deals with certain homeowners that just don't want to reduce their prices. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Mayor Pro Tem Cascanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a little quiet 2 weeks for me since last meeting, other than I attended 2 candidate forums, one at Raleigh Park and one here at Nakauka Community Center. I want to thank League of Women of Voters, Torrance, and our own city clerk and the staff to putting this together. Job well done, and good luck to our candidates, and best of luck on March 3rd. And I think the votes already started, right? We can vote?
22nd.
Yes, so please vote. If you are registered, please go vote. Your voice counts. So that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Next is Councilmember Tanaka.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Pretty light agenda. I did attend the Miss Gwen Duffy's service at the Lighthouse and talked to her family. She was one of my supporters and mentors back in the day, so I stopped in to see that. Went to the candidates forum. Good luck to everybody. Keep walking those precincts. And I apologize for not making the JCI event, but I'd already had something calendared. So, and that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Since everybody had a light report, I think I'll steal all your time. Since my last council meeting, I attended the repast for Councilwoman Emeritus Gwen Duffy's repast at Lighthouse Memorial, and it was really nice talking with her family and just sharing some of the very short memories of Miss Duffy, the couple of times that I had the opportunity to meet and talk with her. And they were so amazed at just how much their mother and grandmother had done over the years. They had a beautiful board there showing some of her campaign literature from many years ago on newspaper articles, and they had no idea just how much their mom and grandmother was involved in the community. So it was just really nice talking with the family afterwards. I too also attended the most recent candidates forum at the Nakauka Community Center. It was very nice and well attended. And then on last Sunday, I attended the stamp unveiling of the American journalist Miss Gwen Eiffel, and that was held at the Gardena Holly Park Methodist Church in Gardena on Van Ness. And it was a really nice ceremony where we unveiled the stamp, as well as they had a really nice musical that went on for about 3.5 hours. But we had a great time there. I know Councilmember Henderson and I, we both enjoyed it. It was very long, but it was very nice though as well. Also, since the last council meeting, I attended our newly formed CCG GA JPA meeting, where we deal with issues involving our casinos. Also, on last Thursday, I attended a special dinner that one of our assembly members, Mike Gibson, hosted, and it was really neat. We had dinner and a legislative briefing at the Porsche Center, and I've never been there before, but it's an amazing place to go. And the assembly member will be having something coming up very soon called Reimagine, and I can't remember his district. I think it's the 65th. Reimagine this. I think it's 65th district, but they're going to have a special showcasing of all of the cities of what great things they're doing in their communities. So, for instance, if we have any new development, they're looking for a venue, possibly like Cal State Dominguez. They're going to invite developers, investors to this, and all of our cities, and each city can showcase something great they're doing, or if we have property or what we envision in a particular area. So we'll all be able to take part in this. City managers, myself, the council are all invited, as well as our economic development directors. And we'll be able to showcase ourselves. And this will be going on probably in about 2 months from now. They're also going to have a special bus that's going to come around where they're going to have developers to take a look at our cities, and we can show them just some great spots that we want to market. But it was a great meeting, and I'm really looking forward to this. And in fact, I haven't had the opportunity to even share this with our city manager, our economic development director yet, but it'll be a great opportunity just for us to kind of get out there and be showcased along with some of our neighboring cities. Also, since the last council meeting, I attended the grand opening of a new gymnasium at El Camino College. And it's a new gymnasium that has a basketball and a volleyball gym. It's humongous. It's set up for media. It's like totally state of the art. And I was so amazed with this. So I was very happy and proud to be able to attend the grand opening along with some of our neighboring cities and present a certificate, just congratulating them on the grand opening there. And then the last event I attended was on this past Saturday, the Day of Remembrance at JCI, where they showcased a film talking about internment camps in Hawaii. A lot of people didn't realize there were internment camps. In fact, we were all shocked to hear this, but there were internment camps in Hawaii, and some of the survivors, a couple of them were there at JCI, and they just talked about their experiences, and the person who created the film and a couple of other contributors to the film were there to talk about the stories behind the scene of that. So really a great and informative event that I had the opportunity to attend. And and then lastly, I attended this past Friday a recognition luncheon for the veterans of the 100 and the 442 Nisei, what is this? Nisei, help me out here. Nisei Post 14, 16, what, I'm sorry. 1461, thank you. And it was really great. We handed out a couple of medals to a couple of the veterans to be recognized there, and there was a lot of people there for this luncheon. They generally have it every year, but and they'll pick a couple of people that they'll recognize at the event. So I was happy that I was able to be able to attend that as well. And with that, that ends my report. Next up is Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Because the hour is long, my report will be brief. Since our last gathering, I participated in the candidates forum we had, hosted by the League of Women Voters and everything. I also want to thank the city clerk's office for stepping up with that. Early voting has started, folks, so please get out there and vote. We have our voting centers around the community and everything, and I know there were some glitches before, but there were glitches across LA County. Our city clerk and city attorney are on the case, so things are looking well. I want to thank all all the candidates and wish us all luck in regards to that. It's always encouraging to have community dialogue on a lot of the issues that are happening in the city and the good stuff that are happening in the city as we kind of all educate ourselves on that. Also, since our last meeting, as Madam Mayor said, I attended the Gwen Eiffel stamp unveiling at Holly Park Methodist Church. It was definitely an elongated program, but the Lord was in the space, so luckily we had an exercise in faith and perseverance. So it was a great program. I also executed some community meetings and my own little coffee clutches and different things like that. I want to say again, remind everybody, voting day is actually March 3rd, but you can early vote, and this is a great opportunity. Voting is super simple on these machines, so give it a try. And you still have time to register to vote, as well as register for your absentee ballot as well. So, Madam Mayor, so ends my report.
Okay, thank you. And I believe the city manager mentioned all the announcements, but I wasn't paying attention for a moment. Did you mention this? Yes? No? Okay, let me mention this for future planning here. Please join us for the City of Gardena State of the City Address this year. It will be Thursday, March 19th, so put this on your calendars. We're announcing it early because space runs out really quickly on this here. It's going to be at our newly remodeled Nakoka Community Center. If any of you guys are on social media, you will know that the Nakoka Center is getting a really nice makeover. The meet, greet, and eat starts at 6 p.m. and the actual program starts at 7. And we definitely want you to come in and join us and just learn about some of the accomplishments we've made over the past year, as well as some of the upcoming future things to expect to see. So again, that date is Thursday, March 19, 2020, and it will be at our Nakoka Center. So we're going to move on to our remembrances. Tonight we're going to adjourn in memory of Mr. Robert Bob Lehman Baccarat, who was 79 years old, and the beloved husband of Mrs. Jackie Baccarat, who is the Executive Director of the South Bay City's Council of Government. We're also going to adjourn in memory of Mrs. Margie L. Smith, who was 85 years of age and a resident of Gardena for over 49 years. We're also going to adjourn in memory of Mr. David LeBeau, who was 68 years old, a former home improvement lead person with the City of Gardena General Services Department. Mr. LeBeau retired on January 2nd, 2020, after 26 years and 7 months of service to the City of Gardena. So at this time, the Gardena City Council will adjourn to our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. We are adjourned.